Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry.
Okay, now let's see if Rhino's chat will be working. It's working.
Looks like it is, although
working.
I am sized very weirdly.
You are not your avatar.
Correct.
Again. Studio mode. Best can. Color? Oh, that's down. Down. And crop you up. Bigger because that's a you problem. There.
It's the first time you've ever made me bigger.
No, it's not. Don't lie. I know better than that. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I exist.
I do too. Yay.
Did you say yay or gay?
Yay.
Okay,
But
that's still pretty. That's
I-
still pretty gay.
I heard myself say it enough that I know how you heard gay. There was like kind of a tongue click at the beginning. That kind of sounded like a G.
It's because you're from that country that we're supposed to be taking over in the future.
Denmark?
No, Canada.
No, you're
Or
not taking us
Canada, or Denmark, or Greenland. I don't know. I don't think Trump knows the difference between any of those places.
It's all North America, right?
It's all North America. That's why we have to keep the Mexicans out. Because they're not part of North America. Despite the fact that they very much are.
Which Mexico are they from, though?
Snow, Mexico.
That's me. I'm a white Mexican.
True.
Fennec says my partner is teaching me to play. My partner teaches me to play, too. I don't know what game you're talking about. But you can infer what I was talking.
They're talking about Magic the Gathering.
Oh,
The collectible card game.
Big time sync.
That is. I rebuilt my Sauron deck. It's very fun.
Says Magic the Gathering, you pervert. You know what? You guys have all turned me into perverts.
Pretty sure.
When I started my channel, I would never have guessed that at some point there would be porn of me on the internet.
Yeah? And? What changed?
Your audience, mostly. I don't think that happened until we started streaming together.
Probably.
So I don't know why I'm the pervert in this situation.
It's all in your head. Something like that.
I mean, to be fair, I did goad my audience pretty hard into creating a WikiFeet page for me. But that was after there was naked pictures of me online from probably Stoff, Pernia, someone like that. Actually, I think the worst of them was probably Piper's. And that wasn't even one that I paid for. They were just like, I'm drawing a thing.
Fair enough.
But they're still on the payroll, so obviously I'm not that hurt by it.
Yet. Give it time.
Is that a challenge?
One day they'll accidentally not use lube.
Well, in a
Then it
picture,
will hurt.
Okay, sure. I do end my video that I forget. I recorded early this week, so now they're getting mixed up in my brain. I don't remember whether it's this Friday's one that's already done or next Friday's one that I've already recorded. But one of them I end by giving all artists blanket permission to draw me however they like. So it's a thing I'm okay with. It's weird to me, but I'm okay with it. So how was your New Year's?
It was pretty okay. I can't complain too much about it. Unfortunately, we did not actually get a chance to go to the diner because shortly after I got off stream, I went to the bedroom to grab Saki, and she was passed out. And she stayed passed out for the next, 5 hours.
That tends to happen on New Year's Eve in my experience.
Yeah, she was not feeling well, and when I basically like I woke her up and like, "Hon, you ready to go? No? Okay. Do you need to sleep? Okay. Do you want me to wake you up when New Year's happens so I can kiss you and then you can roll back into bed? Okay." So my New
Sometimes
Year's
that's all you need.
my New Year's instead ended up being playing World of Warcraft with a couple friends
And you know what? That's
while
fine.
Saki slept.
That is fine. I like Niagara Falls has a thing where they do New Year's Eve fireworks at 8 p.m. for kids. Like you can take your kids and be like, "Oh yeah, I kept you up till midnight." So it's pretty
Till
great.
midnight.
So for our New Year's, we were trying to find. For some reason, my TV decided I have a lock on YouTube, so the kids can't just watch YouTube anytime they want.
Yeah.
So I have to put in a code. But for some reason, my TV decided it was going to stop giving me the numbers that I could choose from, and there are no numbers on the remote. So I'm just permanently locked out of YouTube on my TV until it decides to do otherwise. Which is fine. I don't really use YouTube on my TV, but like that's where I was going to watch the ball drop in New York. Like, okay, well, Samsung has a built-in TV service to their thing that I have never used and has annoyed me to no end. So I will maybe get some use out of it today. So I went and found like there was a Canadian all across Canada New Year's thing, but it was boring as fuck. And the only other thing I could find was the Jonas Brothers did a concert. And let me tell you, man, we had some fun roasting the Jonas Brothers on New Year's Eve because they did not look like they wanted to be there at all. They were so grumpy. It was just it was hilarious. Like it's like they're too old for this shit. They just want to go home and be with their families, but they got to perform these songs that like someone else wrote for them when they were kids.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem of like being the Disney star is a lot of people get so locked into that like everything that they gained as a Disney star. There have been people who have written books about how fucked up their life became because they were like Disney child stars.
Oh yeah, like for a long time, it was actually a bit of a trope that if you were a Disney child star, you were going to die of suicide in your 20s after your long struggle with drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was just what happened. Like the kid that played Peter Pan, that's what happened to him. Bobby Driscoll, that was his name. But yeah. So did the Jonas nieces also do the concert, or is it weird that the Jonas brothers all have daughters? The Jonas nieces. I haven't heard of that. That is a little bit weird. The main thing I know of the Jonas Brothers is that Nick Jonas kind of ruined the 25th anniversary concert of Les Mis. Because he was the only... And I don't blame him for that, because he was doing the Jonas Brothers thing. But the Jonas Brothers thing is not proper theatrical singing.
Yeah.
So he was out of his depth.
You need Wolverine from the X-Men for that. Hugh Jackman's a good singer.
He is. He's a really good singer.
Jassa says, "Have you seen Raven Simone recently?" No, I have not. I don't keep up with the lives of Disney stars. Like, there was a little bit of time where I did when I was a kid, because Disney, in between their shows, would have these like fake interviews with the Disney stars all the time, where it was like Disney corporate would send somebody to do an interview with the Disney star from within the Disney studio.
Mhm.
So it was all like heavily scripted,
heavily
scripted, heavily controlled, very, very fake. But yeah, I
also, it occurred to me after, like, I forgot that Hugh Jackman played Jean Valjean in Les Mis when you said that. I was just like, yeah, no, I've heard him sing, and he's a really good singer. But then I remembered the Les Mis movie and was like, oh, he was not a good singer in that movie. Because like he tried to do this thing where he like didn't drink water for 3 days before a take because he wanted to sound like all raspy and rough like a prisoner, and you know, get all jacked and everything for the part because Jean Valjean's supposed to be really strong, and like the strain in his voice is audible throughout the entire movie, and it does not sound good. And of course, that was also during the Tom Hooper all musicals must be recorded live on set now for some reason, instead of in a studio where you can actually make it sound good.
I think it's just because there was a shift at one point where people realized that it was cheaper to do a Broadway production and just film the Broadway production than it was to make a theatrical version, like a specialized theatrical version of a thing.
Yeah,
And once they realized that that was cheaper and people were going to see that anyway, a lot of those
no, have you not seen the Tom Hooper Les Mis?
No, I haven't seen Les Mis.
It was not a theatrical production that they recorded. It was a movie. It was a full-blown movie that they spent movie money on and had to spend extra money on a bunch of sound engineers to figure out how to do live recording on a movie studio instead of a Broadway stage that's made for that sort of thing. So yeah, no, that was not what happened there. That was Tom Hooper did an experiment. They were trying to do like, oh, you get the raw performance instead of like making your artistic choices in the studio and then doing it. But like the thing that he didn't understand with that is that like when a live performance, when the in a Broadway musical, when the person performing is making musical choices where they're not like strictly sticking to the notes on paper as they're singing, or when they hold a note for a little bit longer than it should be, or finish one a little bit quicker. When they make those choices, those are choices that are made during rehearsal, and then they practice with those choices, and they make the same choices every time. And so it's actually good. But what happened in the Les Mis movie, and this happened with Cats as well, that's actually a really fun movie to watch because of just how stupid it is and how bad everything about it is. But like one of the problems with a lot of these live action we recorded all the sounds on set movies is that when they took the actual footage that they recorded back and had to orchestrate behind it, because they were only singing with piano on the set, the orchestra was now like completely out of time with everything, and so like the orchestration is sloppy in all of those things.
Fun.
Yeah, sorry, this is one of my pet peeves you kind of stumbled onto with your offhanded Wolverine comments.
Sometimes we go down the tism train.
Usually it's your tism train, so I'm glad it's mine today.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if anyone wants more information on that, watch Sideways. He gets more angry about it than I do.
Now I get to play the part of Smile and Nodder.
Yeah. Okay. Should we do news?
Sure, why not? News sounds great.
Does it sound great?
Is it about Venezuela?
No, I'm not touching Venezuela today.
No, really? Like 5 days
okay,
after
let's talk
it
about Venezuela. Let's talk about Venezuela.
Yeah, I feel like maybe of all the things not to talk about, the single highest profile thing that has happened in the last decade is the thing we're actively not doing.
There's probably tweets for it. I didn't pull an article for it.
Okay, I still want to talk about this a little bit though, because
okay, before we start, I have a question.
Sure.
What jurisdiction is he supposedly being tried? Like, because are you allowed to arrest a foreign national who did a crime in a different country and then try them in the United States? Isn't that a massive jurisdictional issue?
I believe it would be. For the same reason that you, like, even within the states, we try to have our court system try people, like, in the district where they did the crime, usually.
Yeah, and it's kind of a big ordeal. Like, the only time that you can move jurisdictions is if there's been, like, such publicity around the case that there's no chance of you getting a fair trial in your own district.
Correct. Yeah, it's... The thing that's confusing me, though, is the amount of people that have just been completely gung-ho for this, for a handful of reasons. I've heard arguments that, hey, there were celebrations in the street when Maduro was taken away, and that was considered a reason why, Venezuelans asked for this. They wanted this the whole time. First of all, I want to say, does that mean that it would be okay if, like, 50% of America right now, maybe even more, would celebrate Donald Trump being deposed? They would, 100%. would that make it okay if a foreign person, like if a foreign national decided that they were going to do that, they were going to just raid the White House and steal the president? Would that be an okay thing at that point? Also, I've seen another take with this that is confusing me, where they go, "Hey, did you know that Obama did this too, motherfucker?" The instances where Obama did it
Pause.
were in the middle of a previous war. What's up?
Pause. Apparently I forgot to update my restream channel, so I'm streaming on not the correct thing on YouTube. And the title is wrong on thing, so I have to go post a link in the chat. I'm not going to stop the stream and restart it. I'm just going to continue on the wrong link, but I'm going to post the correct link in the chat. But I have to find it first.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Title is wrong on thing. So
yeah,
shush. I found the link. And you guys can hear it, I think. Doop.
But like, one of the arguments that I've been seeing for this is that, well, Obama killed Osama bin Laden without a congressional approval. And for that, I'm sorry, but Osama bin Laden was part of an active war that we had already been involved in from before Obama became president. Like, that was the end result of an active military effort that was spanning before, not the first stone throwed. Then Obama invading Libya. The opposition kills Gaddafi. There was no approval for that. Cool. Congressional approval should have been there for that, and that was the thing that Obama did without it. Cool. Congratulations. You got one. I also think congressional approval should have been needed for that as well, because the ability to do acts of war is held within Congress, like the power of the purse. Also, I hear me again.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm sorry.
It's okay. And then
I clicked on a thing and
then I saw one that said, like, well, Biden killed the Al-Qaeda leader in 2022, and there was no congressional approval. Like, motherfucker, the bombings happened in Afghanistan, the country we had been at war in since 2001. Of course there was no congressional approval for that. We were in the midst of an active war, you dumb fuck. Biden pulling us out of that was news, not Biden throwing bombs into it. Anyway, the takes I see on this are so nightmarishly goddamn stupid that if I were to apply literally any of them to modern day America, people would freak the fuck out. But it happens in a country that people didn't know anything about until fucking yesterday, and suddenly they've got different opinions about how it's actually okay for us to go do imperialism. And fucking Trump even went on record and said it was about oil. He even literally fucking said, we did this so we would have control of the oil. When the one thing that we as Americans joked about for 2 decades, from the last war we were in, the last major one we were in, the supposed war on terror that probably was just about oil reserves and shit. That meme floated around the internet for 2 fucking decades, and when the president of the United States confirms that shit, suddenly it's like, but it's okay. It's in U.S. interest. This is actually America first. How?
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I don't want to live in a country where my president can send me to war in a draft with no pushback from Congress, because he can just decide that's a thing he does today. I don't want to live in a country where a man with more money or power than fucking sense says that my family gets to die for his cause, because my family's all been in the fucking military.
But Cyrus,
I don't want to live in that world.
But Cyrus, I have it on good authority that if Trump keeps up with this behavior, then the Democratic leader, Chuck Schumer, he might wag his finger at Trump, and maybe even give a
he might do that. You're right.
Also, I'd like to thank Progress Only for this comment, which is what made me realize that I was streaming to the wrong thing, because I saw that in the restream and then I was trying to find it to highlight and was like, why isn't it there? So yeah, U.S. law, because he's on our land, it's super sketchy at best. He wasn't on our, you had to go to Venezuela to get him, so that is not him on your land. Like, he's on the land now because we went to get him. But that's not generally how jurisdiction works. Oh, yeah, that's right. The highlight my message thing still exists. Stealing how much heavy sour crude oil that we can't process. You guys don't even have the processing plants for that?
I don't know. Not an area where I have expertise. Then again, I also don't have expertise in international law. But the guy who runs the country
does
doesn't
fucking
either.
Pete Hegseth or Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller was in the room while they were making those decisions.
Yoy.
So, yeah.
This whole situation is infuriating. It really is. Because, like, here's the last part. Not the last part, but the last thing that's, like, currently on my mind about it. Let's pretend for a minute. Let's pretend for a minute that we did take a dictator out of office, and that was a good thing to do. There's a problem with that. We did not actually instill a regime change. It would be like if Donald Trump left office right now. What would happen? Nothing would fucking change because JD Vance would be at the front. And there might have been a time where JD Vance would have actually been a better thing for us on the left side of things because he was flagrantly unpopular. But thanks to Turning Point USA, he's not unpopular anymore. He's popular within his own party now. So guess what? The same thing is happening in Venezuela, where the vice president took over right after we deposed the president and took him over here. There's not even a fucking regime change. We have people supposedly celebrating in the streets for nothing. Nothing.
I mean,
it's the thing in George Orwell.
When Trump dies, I will celebrate in the streets. No,
right.
even knowing that JD Vance is just going to take right over.
But
and it's going to functionally change not much.
It's there's a moment in I believe it's 1984 where the state tells everybody that chocolate rations have been increased to 20 grams for each person per day or something like that. However, the people who were living under like the Big Brother state authority in 1984, their previous chocolate rations were 30 grams. But they were told that they had an increase to 20 grams. Now, the state was lying to the people in that story because there was no increase, but they were framing it that way. It's the same fucking thing here. There isn't a functional change, but it can be framed that way.
It wasn't a room, it was a cloth rag partition. Did you see the thing that they set up to do this operation? The command center that they had? Oh, it was straight up just like a room in a Mar-a-Lago ballroom where they didn't even have like the curtains and poles set up. They just threw a bunch of black tablecloths like over some I don't know what they were, but like it wasn't. It was just something that was already in the room that they just hung tablecloths over to make it look like a black curtained off room. But like the tablecloths were see-through, and they had a big screen TV in there that had a Twitter feed up on it. It was
a Twitter feed.
A Twitter feed. They were checking Twitter while they were doing this to see how people were responding. Because I don't know. That's how this administration works. Although I do find it funny that he was using a Twitter feed, not a true social feed.
You know what? I have another media allegory for this one. How many of you have seen The Orville?
I've seen up to some of season 2.
Okay, so there is an episode of The Orville where they visit a planet where your ability to live is determined by the state. But the way that the state determines whether you should be executed, whether you should be celebrated in society, what your pay should be, it's all based on popularity. So what happens in the show is a player or a one of the main characters goes viral for doing something offensive that he did not know was offensive. He goes viral in their super social media saturated planet, and they call for his execution basically within like a couple days because he goes viral for being a piece of shit, even though he didn't know or have any context for like what that meant. That feels to me like that's basically how the Trump admin operates. They literally just go, what would be a popular thing to do? What would get my base happy for 12 seconds? That one. Let's go do that one. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. If it doesn't, we'll just try something else next week. Keep distracting them so they forget the fact that I raped a 13-year-old and had their child fucking murdered by their uncle in the Epstein files.
Yeah. So, where are we? All right, this is going to come up funny, but I have the picture. That's the war room that they had. So that looks like those convention center like pipes that they have that you would drape like hang black curtains on, but it's not. Those are just like the rafters or something in the room that they've tossed tablecloths over that you can still see through them. You can see the Twitter feed that they have up in the background. Yeah. Oop. No, go away. I don't know how to zoom, but like, yeah, that's the Twitter feed. And of course, like Pete Hegseth is in charge there, but like that was his command center during this operation. Couldn't even leave Venezuela, leave Mar-a-Lago.
Why would I leave Mar-a-Lago? My place is perfect. Everything is perfect. The Situation Room in the White House is not equipped for me.
Oh, it's supposed to be. Okay. So, are you done venting about Venezuela? Do we have anything else to say?
I'm done with Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Do you have any thoughts?
I do, but it's mostly just confusion because I haven't been following it closely. So I have this thing where when I get too depressed by certain news items, I just stop reading about them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a defense mechanism because it's like nothing I can do will affect anything about how Trump is handling Venezuela. So like there comes a point where it's like, okay, do I actually like, yeah, being informed is important, but do I actually need to know this, or can I just, for my own mental health, I'm not looking at that anymore. So that's kind of.
Are you telling me that the idea that your neighboring country could send the military without any congressional approval into another country and take the leader of that country and bring him here to try them on crimes they didn't even commit here, that's depressing to you? The idea that America would just do all of the things that Noam Chomsky talked about in manufactured consent, but just did them flagrantly and openly instead of doing them like with any tact at all? That's depressing to you?
Yeah.
Wild. That's insane.
Yeah, it's the same reason I actually don't listen to Skeptic's Guide to the Universe anymore. Not because it's a bad podcast, but because they keep on talking about climate change. And it was around the time when Trump got reelected that it's like, okay, all these climate change discussions are not going to get better. And there's nothing I can do about that. And it just gives me existential dread when I hear about it. So I'm just like, okay, that's not in my podcast rotation anymore. There's probably a lot of good stuff I've missed out on.
Yeah.
I don't need the existential dread. I've got too many children to worry about that.
I'm going to pause for just a second because I see that there's a person in the chat right now that I want to say a thing to. Hey, Cog, just out of curiosity, 50% of Americans would celebrate Trump being taken out of the United States
at least
violently. Like that, 50% of the United States would celebrate that.
That doesn't make it okay.
So the statement, people in the United States are happy, I've seen them posting, celebrating, would not make it okay if a foreign country did that to us. So do you think there is something super special, awesome about America or Venezuela that make them like immune to that reality? Feel free to answer that, or do what you did last time, like a coward, and not answer that. Anyway, continue.
Oh, is this the same person that was in the chat last time? When we were talking, what was it? I forget what the topic was.
I have their last stuff. See here, Biden and Kamala could have released the Epstein files during their admin, so why didn't they?
Yep. The person that was like, okay, good. If Biden's in the Epstein files, arrest the motherfucker.
Yeah, fuck him up too. So if you decide that, like a coward, you would like to say your thing, get your reaction, and then move on to your next thing to get a reaction, then I'm just going to ban you from the chat so you can't have that kind of fun. If you would instead like to have a back and forth dialogue, like an adult, then that's something that I am A-okay
I'll send the Zoom link to the chat.
Like, I have no problem having that dialogue with you, and I, in fact, encourage you to seek out that dialogue with people of different political opinions. But it is not having a dialogue with someone to just say a thing in an attempt to rile them up and then move on to the next thing to rile them up. That's not what an adult does. That's what a child does who pokes and prods to see where they're going to get their next giggle.
That's rage baiting, except we have fun with it, so it's not really rage.
Yeah. The difference is when you do it, I make money off of you. So please keep doing it.
Yeah, the rage bait, the transaction's supposed to go the other way.
Also, the only thing Cog said after the trans person getting kicked out is based. So Cog decided not to respond about the thing that they said before. They decided to instead continue trying to rage bait. So I am deciding that they are now banned. I am wielding the hammer myself. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. If you want to come in and have a dialogue, anybody, I welcome anybody to have that dialogue. I am willing to have that dialogue with you. If instead you want to come in and act like a 12-year-old child, I'll throw you in timeout like a 12-year-old child.
I'll do you one better. Instead of dialogue in the chat, if we can find a way to contact them privately, I would be happy to have them like on the channel.
Yeah, you can just come into the Zoom call.
You can hijack our stream right now. I will rearrange my windows. I mean, I imagine the call wouldn't be very long because they would just bounce from topic to topic with whatabouts.
And that's where you just hold them onto the topic. Like, hey, that's an interesting topic, but let's continue talking about the one we were talking about.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying we would fall for it. I'm just saying that I don't feel like, based on our previous experience with this person, I don't feel like they have the capacity to...
I don't think they're all there mentally. I think their parents failed them. I think that's what happened. I'm going to be honest. Like, I think this is a situation where either the parents or the school system failed this individual, and that isn't really my problem.
Progress Only says, oh sure, bring on a rage baiter, but not me. I'm sorry, Progress. Did you know if Progress Only was on the front page of their local newspaper for the first ever edition in the new year?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so congratulations on that, Progress Only. You're great. Keep doing what you do. I don't know, if we don't really do guests, this is just more an interesting like commenter that keeps coming back, and like if you actually want to have the conversation, we can have it, but
like not to say this in a way that sounds like bad or manipulative in anything, but it's 100% that. I would rather take the time to do one of two things. I would rather take the time to either grab a right-winger who would otherwise be destructive to themselves or those around them and get them to see a better line of reasoning, a better way of acting, a better way, a happier way to comport their lives. I would rather them do that. I would rather engage in that experiment than, hey, let me grab my buddy on for a chat. I can talk to literally any of my buddies for a chat anytime I want, on stream or off stream. I very rarely get the opportunity to grab somebody from the other side of the political aisle unless I'm at the fucking taco place where they talk about Alex Jones conspiracy theories for some reason. By the way, fun fact, y'all know Fleur, the friend whose house burned down, whose fundraiser I've been trying to shout out? Mm-hmm. So a couple weeks ago, or not a couple weeks ago, but like a month ago, they came with me to the taco place for the first time, the taco bar that I go to every Tuesday. And at first they were like, wow, the prices are really low. This is really cool. And then they started hearing the conversations that happen when I'm there, and they just went, why is this happening? Why are these people like this? And I'm like, yeah, I talk to crazy people here sometimes. I've made videos about it. But
Cyrus, be careful with the sniffing. People are going to think you're on cocaine.
It's my allergies from pets.
I know, that's what Kash Patel sounds like whenever he gives an interview. Just finishes every sentence with.
But like, if I want to just have a chat with buds, I can do that. I can do that anytime. What I can't do is have that opportunity to have a conversation with somebody from the other side of the political aisle. Alternatively, if they are somebody who is wanting to try to hijack the stream, to rage bait or troll, they just become content, and they are worth more monetarily at that point. And that sounds horrible and manipulative, and it is 100%. But if somebody's wanting to use me for their entertainment, I'm willing to use them for my financial gain. I think that's an even exchange.
All right. Sorry, I was distracted. I was fixing. There was a little bit of the purple background showing below you, and I had to fix it. because as soon as I noticed
okay.
it, there was no unnoticing it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Olivia. Says, since less than half of you have liked the stream, Rhino only likes you half as much as you deserve.
Jesus Christ.
That's my favorite Lord of the Rings quote. I don't know half as you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. And that is in both the book and the movie. However, I kind of like the movie version a little bit better because Ian Holm fucking nails drunk Bilbo, especially when he says it's my 11th birthday and he kind of stutters over the 11. Today is my 11th birthday. Like, I could never do it like he did it, but he did it and it was great. Or no, 111th is what he was saying, because I know it's 11th, but he also said 111. He was like, it's my 111th birthday. And he like kind of stumbled over the word a little bit in like the perfect way. And it was just like, mwah, perfect performance. No notes.
That's why the win condition for playing Bilbo in Magic the Gathering is getting 111 life.
Okay. Yeah, that works. So you brought up Starship Troopers.
Yep.
And that made me think of, I think it's Starship Troopers 3. Like, have you seen 3?
I have only seen 1 and 2.
Oh, you haven't seen 3?
No. So
3 is a Christian movie.
After 2 was as weirdly horny for the bugs as it was, which I get.
I thought you were more of a snake man than a bug man, but there we go.
Look, I know what I'm about.
All those
I like
legs.
paladin women. What's the difference between plate mail and chitin? No, I was thinking Starship Troopers 3. They actually, like, that one, I don't know if it was written by, it was Edward Neumeier. Was that the same guy that did 1? I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't think it was. That doesn't sound familiar. I really hope it's not the same guy because, yeah, Paul Verhoeven and... Oh, no, it was! Okay, writers were Edward Neumeier, and then Robert Heinlein got a credit because it shared the title, basically. So, yeah, written by the same guy. Holy shit. But directed by someone completely different. Well, directed by Edward Neumeier. I think Edward Neumeier thought that he was not writing satire. Because Starship Troopers 3, if you watch that,
is it just played straight?
Pretty much. Well, I mean, not really. There is there is still a bit of absurdity in it, but it is very much a Christian movie. But the main reason I brought it up is because it's got T'Pol from Star Trek Enterprise in it. She plays one of the main characters, and it is weird to see T'Pol on her knees with her hands together, praying to God to save her from the bugs. and then the Marauders come down behind the person that she was praying with and in a halo, and it makes her look like an angel, and it's so fucking it's great. But like, it's a different kind of great from the first one. I don't know, maybe it was still supposed to be satire, but it just seemed to be playing it straight more than the other ones. But yeah, I don't know.
Fair. I don't know. The whole reason that I brought it up, though, was that, like, technically, whether or not the character was in the right, they never gave any reason and like any argumentation, nothing to support their stance. Just, I am offended, therefore thing. And that's basically what people will frame.
What's funny is that's what they've been accusing the left of for ages.
Yeah, that's what they frame it as. But the reality is, when we get offended, like, take the thing that happened with Cog earlier. I am offended that they came into the chat and did that. Not because they said anything particularly offensive. Absolutely not. I am offended that somebody would be such an unserious person. I'm not saying you have to take yourself seriously, but if the only thing you live for is going on the internet and making somebody else mad, I am offended that you have not taken steps to better your own life. I'm offended that you could have done better.
You are using up oxygen on this planet.
Yeah, when I breathe, there is a chance that oxygen was breathed by you, and that is repulsive to me. But it's repulsive because I think that people are projects. I think that people should always be trying to do better for themselves because you were born into a shitty fucking world. You deserve things being better for you.
You deserve health care. The people you vote for don't think you do. So maybe vote for other people.
Jessica says, offended that they're a bad faith actor. I'm offended that they're a bad faith actor, but not because it inconveniences me. I'm offended because it means that they are a type of person who is choosing to be substandard. In life, they are deliberately making the choice that does not help them later in life.
You're offended that they're wasting their life.
Yeah, basically.
It's like, life is precious. It's the only one you got. And to waste it is just... It's sad.
Like, I don't want somebody to go on their deathbed and, like, the highlight of their life...
I had rage-baited Cirrus one more time than I did.
Like, I don't want the highlight of somebody's life being, like, rage-baiting a fucking rando on the internet. Like, go do something that is enjoyable. Go hang out with the homies. There's all kinds of things you could do that would be better for your mental health and just be fun as shit.
Yeah. All right. So, just crack open my last beer before we move on to the tweets. My poor partner. She just took the ice machine up again today after it had been off for like a month. So we sent it through the cleaning cycle with like some cleaning solution in it, and then rinsed it out good and everything. And this is the first batch of ice, and I stole all the ice for keeping my beers cold on stream.
Aha. Wasn't there a brief period where you stopped drinking on stream?
Yeah. I mean, so I've gotten a lot better at not drinking. So the reason I stopped drinking on stream was because I would always make sure to have beer in the house so that I would have it for the stream. And then I would just drink it when not on stream, and then have to go buy more for the stream. And I think I've gotten pretty good at just not having beer in the house. So yeah, I'm not going teetotaler, but I am trying to not drink as much as I used to. And on stream is like where I'm allowed to.
Okay.
Not that I'm not allowed to otherwhere, but you know what I mean.
So you're a social drinker.
Yes, but only when I'm social with you who doesn't drink.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like my partner, she will use marijuana to help her fall asleep and deal with some nausea things that she has. And every now and then she'll be like, I need to stop because I feel like I'm becoming dependent on it. And then it like turns out like, oh no, she's not chasing the high at all. Like there's absolutely zero desire for the high, although she is fucking hilarious when she's high. But like she doesn't crave it when she's not on it. It's just like, oh, I can't fall asleep. But if I smoke a bit, I'll be able to go to sleep. So.
Okay.
Yeah. We are cognizant of the risks of substance abuse, and we take steps to prevent ourselves from it. And sometimes we are a little bit goofy about that.